start out this morning from the town of Houghton, where we stayed the night, and are proceeding up the Keweenaw Peninsula. Now that's a little bit of a misnomer because Keweenaw Peninsula is actually effectively an island. There's only one road crossing for the entire upper half of the peninsula, and that's right here between Houghton and Hancock. This area is probably best known for having copper mines, and copper is still mined up here today. It's one of the largest deposits in the world of naturally occurring native copper, and so is relatively easy to actually mine it here. The area also has quite a lot of logging and timber activity going on, and this is something that we'll run into a few times during the drive. And of course, another major draw up here is the nature. Camping, fishing, resorts, all of those things that you find in the Upper Peninsula, as well you should. It's a beautiful area up here. Well, it's another day and another lighthouse. We're in Lac La Belle, and this is the lighthouse here. About 45 minutes to an hour outside of Houghton, which is where we spent the night last night. Heading up towards Copper Harbor. Beautiful sight up here. I believe this is Lake Superior over here. I'll correct it later if it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is. Nice clear water. Just taking a little break, actually. I did want to see the lighthouse. It's one of the few that I hadn't already seen. My first time up here in 2020, there were a few that I skipped over for time reasons. You can't actually access this one directly, so you get as close as you can. I have no idea whether it's still in use or not. Probably not. Yeah, a great many of these have been decommissioned. I believe that is actually Lac La Belle back there. That definitely opens up into a bigger lake out there. Oh, somebody left a chair here for us. All right, we got to get back on the road. We got places to go, people to see. And here we are on the Mandan Loop, otherwise known as Mandan Road. This is actually a logger's road, but it's a pretty well maintained one. I was last here when I was here in 2020 and rode most of this in my little Toyota rental car, but didn't get all the way to the end because it was impassable at one point. So I'm hoping that we don't run into that obstruction this time going the opposite direction. In that case, I had to turn around and go back all the way back to the start. But in this case, it's 4 years later, and I'm guessing that any obstructions that were there are gone now. It's possible that we may run into some logging trucks because this is an active logging area, but I'll worry about that when we get there. Now, unlike those snowmobile roads that we were driving on the other day, this is actually a mapped road, so it is actually in my software. I can follow the road using Google Maps, which is really unusual. But of course, I have my backups as well if I need them, but I don't think I will. Road seems to be, well, it's bumpy, but it's otherwise pretty solid and not muddy, not sandy. Yeah, I'm not expecting any trouble on this rather scenic little stretch of road. So enjoy the scenery. Well, that Mandan Road drive was awesome. Yeah, and I'm really glad I did that because that actually revenges me not being able to finish it the first time, and this time, no problem at all. Didn't even really need the GPS, but I had it to hand if I needed it. There are signs and things there now that there weren't before. So, yeah, but great ride. And if you ever have a chance to do it and have, a proper vehicle for doing it, unlike a Toyota Yaris, which I think is what I had last time, it's definitely doable. And I think it's a great drive. So this takes us to the end of Mandan Road. Now, this is actually a landmark which kind of is connected to various points in my life. And this is the beginning of Highway 41, US Highway 41, which starts right here in Copper Harbor and ends kind of ignominiously in Miami, Florida. And of course, I live along US 41 now in Chicago. So, different eras of my life are connected to this highway. And of course, this is the sign here. It is something of a tourist attraction. People do come and see it. I think that US 41 touches a lot of people's lives. So let's go have a look at the sign a little bit closer. $1,990 miles from beginning to end. And when I was a teenager, it was one of my ambitions in life to try to be, one of the people to travel the entire length of it. And I think over the years, I've probably have traveled almost the entire length of it, if not the whole length of it, but not in one go. So, maybe that's another time kind of thing, or maybe it'll never happen. But anyway, all right, let's move on. We got a long way to cover today. Heading south from Copper Harbor area, we're able to stick pretty close to the lakeshore on our way back to Hancock and Houghton. This area has a lot of farming activity as well as a lot of logging, and there's a lot of interesting little towns along the way. Unfortunately, many of them are down dead-end roads, and as you know, we mostly avoid the dead-end roads just because of reasons of time. Given unlimited time, there are probably ways to wind your way from village to village on these snowmobile roads and that kind of thing. Hey, I wish I had the time and the money to do that. Maybe if enough people subscribe, you never know what might happen. Taking another stop here. This time we're at Eagle Harbor State Harbor. We're going to walk along this waterfront here and hopefully get a glimpse of the lighthouse on the other side of this water here. This is just a little inlet off Lake Superior. We'll be seeing Lake Superior in a moment. It's a nice place to get out and stretch your legs, and a beautiful day for it. The life-saving museum is here. Might stop in and have a look inside there. Last time I was here, it was late September and everything was closed, so this is the first time I've actually seen this properly. There's the Coast Guard Harbor Station there. They avoid these people and pick you up on the other side. Little harbor here, and there's boats in there and inside. I don't know if this is an active station anymore or not. It certainly doesn't look it from this launch, but I could be wrong. Once we get south of Houghton again, we're back into an area where there are a lot of state forests and nature reserves. Unfortunately, that also means that we have less opportunity to get off the highway and explore kind of in the edgier areas of the map. There do seem to be a fair number of campgrounds and resorts and that kind of thing out in this area, but notably, they all seem to be fairly close to the main road. Given a more appropriate vehicle, perhaps more edgy adventures are possible out here, but for somebody in a rented SUV, maybe not so much. This section of the trip wasn't perhaps the most visually interesting of the journey so far. I did nonetheless have a question about it. Having come north a few miles on North Fire Steel Road, and then turning left and going straight west on South Fire Steel Road, how exactly does that make sense again? If somebody knows the answer, I would love to know. Please leave a comment below.